I really believe that one of the most important evolutionary steps you could take in your relationship, and I'm going to speak about it from the perspective of a husband and a wife. I think it's applicable for almost any phase of a relationship and should be at least considered for implementation. But I'm going to say from a husband and wife's perspective because this is the natural progression that we tend to go through. We'll start off as friends and we'll do the boyfriend and girlfriend thing and then eventually get married. And from that point, I think it's always important to find a way to go back to a friendship, go back to treating each other as friends the way that you would in the beginning. And for anybody who's saying, wait a second, you said evolution, but now you're talking about friendship. Aren't we going backwards? And the reason that I think this isn't the case, the reason that I think we're actually pushing forward is because when we implement this in a marriage, then we're really getting the best of all worlds. When you first are interested in somebody and you're trying to learn everything about that other person. You're interested, you're curious, you're non judgmental, you're not possessive of this other person. There's so much growth that happens there between you guys in your bond. There's so much growth that happens there. You say, hey, how can we take this further? How can I build more with you, create a stronger dynamic between the two of us? But then you get married and you start to treat that person as if she's just another one of your possessions. You have your clothes, you have a car, you have a house, and you have a wife. She's just one more cog in this list of things that you possess. And you start treating that person that way. They have their own individual goals and desires. They're trying to heal themselves in their own unique way, ways that could never be blended together with another person. No matter how much we try to say two people become one, it's never entirely the case. We all have our unique situations, our unique paths that we need to work through in the time that we have so that we could be at some state of peace when we're towards that ending phase of our life. And so what happens is you're not thinking about that person in their best interest. You start to only think about that person in terms of how it's going to affect you, how it's going to affect the dynamic between the two of you. And I think you're just doing the relationship a huge disservice when you stay stuck in that space. It shouldn't be the case where you actually treat your friends better than you treat your spouse. If your friend came to you with a problem, you would listen to that person intently and you would be immediately thinking about what's going to be best for them. You're going to be immediately thinking, why did this happen to you? And not in a negative way. If somebody says, I've never stolen anything before, and I don't know why I had this weird urge to just understand what this feeling was like. And so when I was at the convenience store, I put a little something in my pocket. And I'm not condoning doing this, but just as an example, you're going to look at your friend and say, why do you feel the need to do this? Why do you think you're in that space? What's going on there. If it's something that's really nagging you, if this is something that's driving you crazy, why don't you go try it, right? You start thinking from that person's perspective. You start thinking in terms of compromise and what do you think we can do here? Now, your spouse comes to you with the same problem, the same issue, the same challenge, and your mindset is totally different. It's what the hell's wrong with you? are you are you stupid? Are you crazy? Are you a little kid? What type of person would think of stealing? Who raised you? What's going on here? And we just get this way as if that other person's well-being is totally separate from that of someone who's our friend, because maybe we're thinking this person is a reflection of me. This person is a reflection of us, and I don't want to look bad because of something that you're doing. And there's a lot of ego there. There's a lot of arrogance there to say that I'm better than you. I don't have that issue. I would never think about doing something so juvenile. I can't even believe you're that type of person. And the truth is, no matter what type of language I use here, I may not even capture the true ugliness that we all know is possible in relationships. We can dress it up all we like, but we know that these things can get bad. And so you get many cases where you're not treating your spouse the way that you would treat somebody who's supposed to be one of the most important people in your life. And this is why I say that we should make this next step of transitioning the relationship from this concept, this title, this feeling of husband and wife to friendship, to best friends, because now we're looking out for each other's best interests. Now we're removing the factors of ownership, possessiveness, jealousy, ego, all of these things that function in a regular relationship. Sometimes people even think these are admirable qualities in a relationship, but I think ultimately they're very ugly things that we dress up in the name of love. And when we're able to think in terms of how would I treat this person as a friend and look out for their best interest and make sure that they are finding a sense of fulfillment, making sure that they're happy. If they're having challenges and struggles in life, how can I help you get better in these areas? What can I provide to you to create a space where you can remove some of these obstacles that are so challenging to you? When you start looking at a person like that, and when they start looking at you through the same lens, then I think you have this great cycle of helping and being helped, looking out for someone's best interests with an open mind and an open heart, and somebody looking out for your best interests with an open mind and an open heart. And I think you're just going to see a much better dynamic between you and your partner in a way that, frankly, the majority of people, I don't believe, would even be able to identify these types of actions. I think we've been conditioned so bad through the relationships that we've been exposed to in our own lives through other people, what we see on television, that we actually start to think that these things are normal. But we could already take a look at the divorce rates being 50%. And I heard another statistics when you take that the amount of people who are married and you calculate how many of them are happy, then in reality, you have a 20% success rate when you look at the joy within the relationship. So that's my thought on this one. Thank you guys for watching. If you have a comment, share it below, and I'll talk to you next time.